we are honored to have the opportunity to have a captivating chat featuring Major General Gagan Deep Bakshi, sir, a distinguished retired Indian Army officer. His illustrious career, marked by his dedication to public service and his significant contribution to our nation, is an inspiration to all of us. His presence here today elevates the importance of this gathering, and we believe his insights on defense strategies and the ethos revolving around today's cause will undoubtedly enrich our understanding. So please join me in extending a warm and respectful welcome to him as we eagerly await his speech and insights that he has to share with us today. Sir, please come up on stage.
Please bear with us because, my Japanese self is very, very feeling sorry inside, because we are running behind the time. And we really apologize for that. Thank you so much, Uncle. Please have a seat. I'll be here. There are two other. Please keep them, the coffee table also. Take them away. Yes. I think you all know him, right? Yes or no? Yeah, it is my pleasure, actually, to have Uncle here and Major General Bakshi. So, first, definitely, everyone is expecting something great you say about Quad, because that is the thing when it comes to defense. I think India, Japan is very much united when it comes to Quad. And that is the reason I did not invite, I did not actually introduce him, because our anchor already introduced and I did not introduce. So, because you all know him. Yeah. So, yes. So, how it can unite us more?
We had some very interesting sessions on the history of Indo-Japanese relations and how we go back, how we are joined, by our Vedic gods, by Buddhism, and then how we are eternally grateful to Japan. Because had it not been for Japan, let me be very honest, India would not have been free in 1947. I mean, take it as a piece of history. It is because of the Japanese support to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and the Indian National Army that we are free today, and I am talking on the basis of empirical facts. Facts which have come out from a study of the transfer of power archives in London. In 1977, they were declassified, and they have given us the truth. The fact of the matter is, these things were bonding India and Japan even earlier. Justice Radha Vinod Paul's very, very, very brave stance at the time of the so-called war crime trials, etc. All that was there. But India-Japan relations have blossomed only now. Only now, after so many years. So the simple question is, why? The equally simple one-line answer, one-word answer is China. Let's face it, today we have geostrategic interests which are convergent. Our values were convergent even earlier. We were both democracies even earlier, 1950s onwards. But we never had this kind of a strong relationship, strong convergence. And that is why. It is because of the elephant in the room. Though we are supposed to be the elephant, and that is the dragon. But the simple fact it is because of China that our two countries have been, I would say, compelled by geopolitics, by geography, by history, to now come together at this stage. If there is...
Okay, yeah, okay.
I have a loud military voice, so I thought it would compensate. But thank you. As I was saying, we had convergent interests even earlier. We had convergent values. But they were not enough to take this relationship to the current level. It has happened only because of China. If there are two countries in Asia that can stand up to China and balance China, it is India and it is Japan. No other countries in Asia, let's be very realistic, can together, stand up to China and look it into the eye. right? China is getting increasingly aggressive, increasingly pushy. We can see what is happening to the Philippines Coast Guard, how the Chinese Coast Guard has been ramming those ships, water cannoning those ships. And let me be very, very straightforward. As a military analyst, I'm telling you, please don't be surprised if in the current year 2024, China carries out an invasion of Taiwan. The first window of opportunity that is coming up is in April, May, when the meteorological conditions, the tide conditions will be absolutely right. The next opportunity comes in August. See it from China's point of view. See it from China's point of view. The United States, its principal adversary, is bogged down in Ukraine. They are now bogged down in the Middle East. The Houthis, the three H's, are giving hell all over to our merchant shipping, to Indian merchant trade, to Japanese trade, to the world's trade, and driving the world towards another recession. The Houthis are doing it single-handedly. And now, there could be no better window of opportunity for the Chinese to carry out their long talked of invasion of Taiwan than this year. And that means trouble for all of us. That means trouble for the world, it means trouble for Asia. And if there are two countries that can really hold together, I have been in contact with a number of Japanese scholars. Dr. Satoru Nagao, a very dear friend. We've been discussing these things for a very long time, right? But the simple fact that I have been saying is, look, the Americans are not part of Asia. You know, when things get too rough, they may cut costs and leave Asia and go. Japan and India have nowhere to go. Asia is ours, and we will have to stand up and fight, maybe alone, maybe as part of the Quad.
So, General Bakshi, what actually India and Japan should do? What would you like to suggest the Japanese government and Indian government?
You know, we had tremendous hopes when this strategic cooperation started. But I, as a military analyst, I, as a former general from India, am deeply disappointed that we have been able to do only so much so far. We thought the sky is the limit as far as Indo-Japanese cooperation is concerned. But you know, in actual fact, when you talk to the ministries of defense in both the sides, what are we really doing? We are trying to cooperate in UAVs, very essential field, especially after the battles that we have seen in Ukraine. You know, counter-drone warfare, very essential, underwater communications, lithium-ion batteries, you know. But this is small-time stuff. India and Japan, we thought we would cooperate in submarines. The Japanese have a whole lot of experience of the Second World War. They've been running submarine operations so successfully. We thought we would do that. Unfortunately, we then had to go to the French. We have had to go to the others as far as this thing is concerned. I feel our bureaucracies, I'm very sorry to state, Indian side, as also some from the Japanese side, have been, despite the political leadership, putting its weight behind an Indo-Japanese, you know, strategic alliance, more or less. You know, we find that a lot of the big-ticket items have not come through. The amphibious aircraft, Shinwa, I'm just forgetting the name of that company, Shinwa, you know, Shinmawa, right? That is still not come through. 12 aircraft we have been talking for now over 12 years. But it's not through. Now, I would say, let's forget the past. Let's go ahead. We have to think big. We have to swim or sink together. We've got a major problem. And that problem is spending, just increased its defense spending by 7% this year. Chinese. It's gone up to almost $230 billion. That is the announced budget. It would be more than $150 billion plus with all the budget that they hide. You know, our budget is $72 billion. So unless India and Japan combine, we are heading for problems. Unless we combine, and we have now little time to get our act together. For example, let me give concrete examples. India is developing a 5th generation stealth fighter aircraft. Japan is developing a 5th generation stealth fighter aircraft. Why are we having two separate programs? Can't we combine? Can't we put our heads together and come up with a better solution for both of us? And that way we would also get economies of scale. In the Ukraine war, you know, we are watching a live war in front of our eyes. And it has changed the way wars are fought. We are back to World War I, back to World War II. You know, and this is one of the things that happened to us, which was nice because we are slow to change. You know, our military organizations are based on World War II. So there was a big clamor in the Indian armed forces, let's change them, let's change them. The Americans have gone back to brigades from divisions, etc. Let's also change. Thank God we did not change, because now the same organizations are back in currency. The Russians have gone back to the division. So one of the lessons that has come from there is the 155 millimeter howitzer. Artillery is the war winning factor. India, our own Kirloskars, you know,
over there. Our own sponsor.
One of our sponsors, you know, and they are smart people. They are backing the right horse, you know. So the fact of the matter is, Bharati Forge, you know, and a number of our other firms, Bharati Forge got together. They were building axles for American locomotives, American trucks, heavy duty axles. Here, India was trying to develop a 155 millimeter medium gun. Ultimately, we found that we had some, you know, drawings of the Bofors still lying in our almaras, locked up with double locks, etc. So they were opened out, so they tried to copy it. They made the Dhanush. The metallurgy of the Dhanush is not that good, you know. So that is the time the Bharati Forge stepped in on their own. The Bharati Forge stepped in on their own. They went to Sweden. They were selling a plant for manufacturing artillery guns as scrap. And he went there and he said, I'll buy the whole plant. Please don't sell it as scrap. Rebuild the plant in India. Now today, I just want to point out, India has built the ATACMS gun, Advanced Technology Artillery Gun System, right? This fires up to a range of 48 kilometers. The American equivalent gun, American Howitzer 155, fires up to 45. The American Howitzer fires 3 rounds a minute. The Indian guns fires 5 rounds a minute. It's a world beater gun. Why can't we get together with Japan? Because these guns will be needed against the Chinese, by the Filipinos, by the Vietnamese, by the South Koreans, by Taiwan, and by a host of other smaller nations who are worried about what China is doing. When we put our heads together, when we combine, we will get economies of scale for both the countries involved and as also for further exporting. You know, we have longer assembly lines, the individual costs come down. And we will, you know, improve the product. When Indian brains and Japanese brains put our heads together, that's the way to go. So whatever we missed because we have only done the small time stuff. This is very minor stuff, not expected or not what we really thought was needed. And we really thought that is the way we would go. Even now, I'm sure this will happen. I have gone to the extent of suggesting to the government of India, I am now a retired soldier, but I run my Indian Military Review magazine, and I have suggested that India should give a nuclear guarantee to Japan. If any country threatens to use the nuclear weapons against Japan, India should step in. They are Buddhists. They are our own people. They are part of that Sanatan bond that we have, which goes thousands of years. And as a civilization, we would like to step out, just like we had for some time a treaty with the Soviet Union when we were worried about United States and China and Pakistan getting together. Then we had a treaty of peace and friendship, and we said if there's any threat, we will hold mutual consultations to do away with the threat. I am suggesting openly that we should have that kind of a arrangement in place, so that we are really allied. We are really, and I'll just take half a minute more. We are really allied, right? And we are in it together. What happens if next month the Chinese do attack Taiwan? Should we just sit it out separately? I'm afraid not. What happens if China gets muscular in the Senkaku Islands? Will we just sit quiet? I don't think so. That's not the way we are heading. The least we can do is, we can put pressure on the Chinese front to see that the high quality aircraft, the high quality formations and equipment is not taken out towards that side, and vice versa. So that we put that pressure just by the fact of being there. And from there we can go further if required. From there we can go further. The least we can do for one another is Japan, India, Vietnam, South Korea. We can at least see that whatever Chinese forces are in front of us are not allowed to be massed against one target at a time, which is how the Chinese want to do it. They want to mass all their resources, one target at a time, and they have made out a timeline. And the first country they wanted to tackle was Taiwan. Number 2 was Taiwan, ke baad India. And number 3, then after India, they wanted to sort of go in for the Russians. You know, Japan, and then to the Russians. Why should we let them do it one by one? Why should we allow them to fight the way they have designed or planned? We'll have to disrupt. And for that, India and Japan need each other badly. Please understand the emphasis. There is no time any further to lose a point scoring by some diplomats here and there, who wants to tell you, I know the best, And even though the top leadership is saying so, we have people who have been putting spokes in the wheel. They have been putting spokes. The cost of the Shin Mawa is too high. I mean, to hell with it. We have to go for the concept of the relationship. We have now to get our heads together and to make sure that we face a major problem that is common to us both, China.
Wonderfully, I think you have given a lot of ideas to our startup and to our, for the tomorrow's headlines. I think a lot of controversy is happening here. The tomorrow headlines will be, Anandji also said a lot of things. You are also saying a lot of things. So I think journalists are getting a lot of masalas today. But this is, I think, a golden opportunity. So we'd like to take one question as we promised. Yes, sir. No, there. You can ask anytime. So, yes, sir.
Good evening, sir. And I can say I'm a fan of yours because I'm regularly listening you on televisions, many televisions.
Thank you.
English, Hindi. So I'm a lawyer, but it's not relating to law question. Since I have seen in last few years, the government of India has many tie-ups or alliances with many European countries or US as well regarding the defense deal. As far as the Japanese companies are concerned and relation with the defense relation with the Japan, I have not seen much movement.
That's right.
So do you think that any movement is coming in coming years?
It has to come. What I'm trying to say is you have no choice. You have no choice. Unfortunately, the Japanese companies were not in a major way into defense. So all the tricks of the trade, they hadn't learnt. which, which perhaps the French know, the Americans know, and the British know, etc. Their companies were slow on the start because they were not exporting weapons earlier, as a matter of policy. Now things have changed. Now from self-defense, we'll have to graduate to the step next. This is what my Japanese military friends also tell me. We have to graduate to stage next, and there is very little time. So we have to get together. The governments have to lead the way. And a lot of the people, who want to carry on as business was, will have to be shaken out of their slumber. Will have to be shaken out of their slumber because we are finding it's not going fast enough. I'm being very straight, blunt, and straightforward. Military people don't, waffle or pussyfoot around the bush. Straightforward question is, we should have done much more. Even now, let's get our act together. The time to close that gap is getting very short. Very short.
Yeah, actually, I know that you want to listen a lot from General Bakshi, and I also do. And you have many questions. But as I said, that we are running behind of the time, and we are feeling sorry, and that is the reason we have to wrap it up here. But the interest today I see for the previous session also, and the first session also, I think we have to make separate session very soon, and Jetro will help us. I'm sure about it. And so you all can ask questions, and I promise you today that we'll be making those separate session where the defense will be there. I think it will help both countries' people, both countries' startup, both countries, the government also. The Jetro will help us, as I said. So today we'd like to, we have to wrap it up here. I actually, many panelists you can ask many times. Yeah, ghar ka aadmi ho aap.
Indo-Japanese, Netaji kind of think tank, so that you give recommendation to government of India, because nobody is as patriotic as Bakshi Saab to give, advisories to Japan as well as to India. No one is as serious, and you have as much energy as General Saab for your age. So you should find a think tank, Netaji Nippon think tank, please.
Okay, Netaji Nippon think tank. So, Netaji Nippon think tank, thank you so much, Dr. Cole. Actually, thank you so much for the honor. I am no way when it comes to General Bakshi, but, I'm just starting, I feel. But my energy, you compared with him, but let's do it, Uncle. Okay.
Nike.
High five. Let's एक photo हो जाए ऐसे. Where is our photographer? Netaji Nippon.
Nike, let's do it. Thank you.
I think Suzuki-san should also be on the stage.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you. I start speaking Japanese. Really, it was a pleasure listening to you and hosting you. Thank you so much. But before that, I think a military man should be honored by another military man. So, we'd like to invite Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni to honor General Bakshi, Major General Bakshi. Thank you. Yes. Yes, please. What a man. Yes. This is Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One more time, big applause for both of our heroes, Indian heroes.